And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it is Sunday, and you know what that means? It's time for weekly purchases, that time of the week where we investigate what came through the door via DHL, Amazon, UPS, United States Postal Service, FedEx, and of course, that old outlaw, Waylon Jennings. It is the weekly purchases, and we got a lot of weekly purchases to talk about. We got a lot to get into in the back half, of course. First part here, a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of stuff going on here this week, including the sponsor of weekly purchases this week. It is sponsored by Wrestle Rave Death Triad, November 23rd, 7 o'clock, Houston, Premier Arena. We got a little independent wrestling action as Wrestle Rave's brutal one-night death match tournament. See top independent wrestlers featured in AEW, TNA, GCW, and around the world. Bring the fight to our most violent event of the year. Witness Shane Mercer's Wrestle Rave debut, grab rare collectibles, figurines, got my ears perked, and wrestling merchandise. Enjoy live music, cheap beer, and VIP meet and greets. Use code Kyle for 10% off your ticket. So if you're in the Houston area, let's just say you're anywhere in Texas, that little old town, that little old state of Texas, you should be able to get to that show. So check it out. Tell them Kyle sent you. Save 10%. Got to get a deal out there. Wrestle Rave Death Triad, November 23rd. Mark your calendars. And thank you, Wrestle Rave, supporting the channel. There you go. But now we got to get down to it. Let's get down to some of the weekly purchases stuff. Let's get down to some of the housekeeping. How about Patreon, the month of November? November's giveaway this month. Where is it? Right over here. How about Ring of Honor Jazzwares Vault? Brody Lee will be the giveaway this month, so check out the Patreon link in the description down below. I've been saying it the last few weeks, so backed up on unboxings, tons of stuff on Patreon, so if you want to be months and years ahead on videos, plus get all the other bonus stuff over there, check out the Patreon link in the description down below, as we always do say. And as I always say, no rest for the wicked. A very busy week for me this week. I was over in the Quad Cities. I was celebrating Rock Island, Bettendorf, Davenport, Moline, and all points in between. I was out over there for work this week. So very busy doing that. Got home and, of course, got some weekly purchases to dive into here today. Next week, going to be just as busy. Monday night, King Diamond, Overkill, and my boys, Night Demon. Of course, that's going to be a great triple bill. Monday night, can't wait to see Night Demon and the boys over there. So, of course, we'll have some footage of that in the figure hunt videos. But we're not done with my concert week next week. Wednesday night, Exodus is in town. Zetro will be there. And, of course, Gary Holt. We know all about Exodus, one of the great thrash metal bands of all time. Can't wait to see that Wednesday night. On the fence for Thursday night, Trans-Siberian Orchestra's in town. I do have my kids' conferences that night, so we'll have to play that one by ear a little bit. But then Saturday, Ace Frehley's in town. Never going to miss Ace. My daughter, Emma, very excited to finally see Ace in concert. That should be a great family outing there at the Ace concert on Saturday night next week. And then Sunday, it sounds like I'm going to drive to Omaha with the wife and kids and probably sit in the car again. I did it for Chapel Roan a couple of weeks back. I sat there and edited videos. Probably going to do it this Sunday as well, or next Sunday, I should say, as we are going to the Billie Eilish concert, apparently. The kids and the wife love them some Billie Eilish, I guess. Not for me. I'd rather save the $200, put that towards dog vet bills and things like that. So that's probably the plan there. We're going to be a very, very busy week next week. And then before you know it, it'll be Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And then here comes 2025. That's the way it goes. We know how that goes. But very fun to know, of course, talking about the year of the end. We know what that means here on this channel. We've done it the last few years. Going to continue the tradition this year. Got my Western wear already. The Kenny Rogers garments from the 80s. Ready to bring those out. And, of course, that means top 5, top 10 best of the year list. Best and worst, I should say. But we're probably going to start that next week, work our way through the year. Of course, we'll go through all the toys review here on the channel all year long. And we're going to do definite top 5, top 10s of a lot of these different toy lines. Wrestling, retro wrestling, worst, you name it, all that kind of stuff. we will be doing those videos on the channel. And then early 2025 or the end of 2024, we will find out what the #1 action figure of 2024 was. So stay tuned for a lot of those best of year-end videos. Have those coming starting next week, so be ready for that. Of course, this week's top 5, we did the top 5 most disappointing things with the AEW Jazzwares brand. The week before we did Mattel. Thought it was only fair to do Jazzwares. Constant learning, constant improvement. Hopefully those get checked out by you guys. Check out those videos if you did miss those. And the last bit of housekeeping, not to toot my own horn a little bit, but got a very cool offer this week to be a consultant for one of the major toy companies. So wanted to be open and honest about that. It's just a consultant job. Just going to be able to give my 2 cents on a few things. Not going to say the company, but very excited to do that. That doesn't change anything for their views. I'm going to say the same things I'd say there, I'll say to them. But very, very fun here to see where this magical toy journey goes. So we'll see more on that in the future. Maybe, probably not, but just want to put that out there. So there you go. But now we got to dive into it. We got the mail girl waiting in the wings. It's time for the question of the week. What is up, everybody? All right, time for the mailbag. Angie's here. Hello, Angie.
I'm so little when I sit down.
She's so little when she sits. She's the size of...
I'm all legs.
You're somewhere in between Gary Coleman and Beetlejuice. Somewhere in between those two. That's where I want to be, between Gary Coleman and Beetlejuice as well. Of course, Emmanuel Lewis, the top-notch friend of the channel, as we do know. But Angie, how are you doing today?
Good.
And you're ready to answer a mailbag question, and then you want to put the Christmas tree up, I heard.
Yep.
She's ready for Christmas. Are you putting 2 up or just 1 this year?
2.
2 Christmas trees. Oh, it's just double Christmas over here. That's what it's going to be. But all right, Angie, let's dive in. Let's dive in to the question of the week. Take it from there.
Take it from there. Jonathan Hodap, 8735. Question, what is your guilty pleasure meal?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
I don't even know either.
It's one of your great fine cooking, one of the great meals you put together. Which one would that be? I don't know.
How about a chicken hot dish?
Chicken hot dish.
That's your nostalgic.
Oh, Grandma Peterson. Oh, rest her heart or bless her heart. What do they say? I don't know. But either way, Grandma Peterson used to make a mean chicken hot dish, a mean lasagna, just a mean casserole. Most grandmas make a mean casserole, but
guilty pleasure makes it sound like it's like very high in calorie or something.
Those could be too. I don't know what my guilty pleasure would be. I love fish, that's for sure. I'm a big I love to eat fish.
I love salmon.
Oh, I love salmon. That's true too.
It's
That's true too.
so cold down here.
I don't know. Do you have your guilty? I think I know your guilty pleasure, and I can eat it about once a year.
Are you thinking of tater tot casserole?
Tater tot casserole. She loves those tater
Is that
tots.
not guilty?
I don't know. What is yours? So what's yours?
I don't know.
Tater tot casserole. I think it's obvious right there.
Guilty pleasure meal?
For me, there's a lot of meals I do like. Like
Just eat whatever we want.
I like a good Pequod's pizza over in Chicago. That's an amazing one for me. Pizza is usually my guilty pleasure meal, but there's a few things like, oh, I know what mine is. What I really like, and I rarely get it. And once again, it goes back to my other grandma. She made this when I was a little kid, and I didn't know any different. Most people think it's the most disgusting thing in the world, but I grew up and eating it, didn't think anything of it. It would be chicken liver. Oh, nothing like some fine organ meat. You haven't lived till you've been dining on the organ meat. You can dine on some organ meat later if you're lucky, Angie. I'll hook you up. But chicken liver is probably mine. I love chicken, but it's hard to find. It's hard to find these days. Nobody wants to eat that sweet, sweet organ meat. And what's wrong with you people?
And you have to finish it too. You're not allowed to bring it home.
Yeah, and I would make it at
No
home.
reheating that in the microwave.
I remember you'd make it at home, but it smells up the whole house, and oh
So
my
gross.
gosh, no way. But I'm gonna go chicken livers as my guilty pleasure meal. You get some gravy with it, or some honey mustard, or some mashed potatoes, maybe. I don't know, but that's mine. But Angie, what's yours gonna be? Tater tot casserole.
I mean, my
I
highest
guess.
like calorie meal I eat is if we go to Cheesecake Factory and I get
Well.
like that chicken Madeira and a piece of cheesecake. That's probably like 4,000 calories.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be high calorie. It's just like
that's
what is.
That's what it means to me, guilty pleasure. Because why would you feel guilty if it's healthy? Like what?
Well,
makes it
maybe
guilty?
it's expensive. If you're a fine diner on salmon, it's a $50 salmon.
Ooh, my steak de Burgo that I get that place downtown.
She likes a good steak de Burgo. We might have that tomorrow. We'll see. Unless I can convince her to go back to Kentucky Fried Chicken and try these chicken tenders. We'll see. It's either that or a fancy steak. We'll see what Angie wants to do tomorrow. We'll see. Hot date night tomorrow, so we'll see. But that's it. That's the guilty pleasure then. Steak de burgo or maybe tater tot casserole. And for me, a good Pequod's pizza is always at the top of the house, but I'm going to go chicken livers right there. So that's the question of the week. Thank you, Jonathan Hodap. And if you want to be the question of the week, put yours in the comments down below, and you too can be the question of the week. Angie, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
You're welcome.
And now it's time for the weekly purchases. All right, round number 1 of weekly purchases, and that's usually how it begins, with round number 1. But it looks like we got maybe 3 rounds this week. A decent week here as things keep building up. I keep saying it. Man, it's a little daunting when you got all these unboxings to do. And let's be honest, I don't have to do them, but you know me, I'm going to do them. So you got all that, and then I'm looking at the down the barrel of the gun of all the best of lists for the end of the year, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to take in at the end of the year, and it's a busy season too. Of course, at the day job, but you know, no rest for the wicked. We say it about every single week. That's the way it's going to go. But let's dive in. Let's start with round number 1. And round number 1 will be non-wrestling. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a dash of the other this week through the door. Via Entertainment Earth, using discount code Kyle, of course, to save myself 10%. I got Fisto. He's ready to fist everybody in Eternia, and maybe your town too if you're not careful. Old Fisto, going to be an all-timer of a figure. Can't wait to dive into that one. From maybe the best of the year to possibly the worst of the year, we do got this one here, New Eternia, Flying Fist He-Man. I wasn't sold on this one at San Diego Comic-Con, but we'll see how it ends up netting out when we dive into it, of course. And I've seen this one about 5 times this week. I finally pulled the trigger, and I said to myself, I'm going to hold on to it. And if not, I can always take it back. I just wasn't sure, but wasn't sure I was going to see it again. It comes from our friend on the couch, Todd McFarlane. It is the Platinum Wolverine statue. These are pretty darn cool. I just don't know if I got a place for it. I don't know if I need it in my collection, but I figured I can always take it back if I need to. So we do got Wolverine through the door this week. I was on a trip to the old Quad Cities. Shout out to the Quad Cities. But on the way home, I went to the Muscatine Walmart. I stopped in there, and I saw something in the clearance bin, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on this. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not, but for $10, I'm going to dive in. It is a Barnyard Commando. Way over my head. I never got these back in the day, but I figured I'd check it out, see what all the fuss is about. And for $10, not a bad day at the office. And this is something my daughter Emma would like as well. So I'll probably unbox it, gift it to Emma, and she'll probably have that in her room. So Barnyard Commando through the door. Who had that on their bucket list? One thing you probably had on your bucket list, hot off the truck, hot off the Amazon truck, that is, Motorhead, the Singles Collection, 1995 to 2006. Bit of a deep cut years for Motorhead, of course, but a new Motorhead release is a new Motorhead release. You know I'm picking that one up. And you know me, I love a good dwarf. We know that. I'm a jolly dwarf at the end of the day. Shout out to my buddy Beetlejuice. We got the dwarf, of course, Elkhorn, the cartooner, I guess the toy edition from NECA, Elkhorn through the door this week as well. Found that at Target. Also picked up another 60th anniversary Joe this week. Got a second one so I can display multiple looks for these. We know how that goes by now. Picked that up this week. More Entertainment Earth goodness. I did get the cartoon collection Ram Man through the door. A very good looking Ram Man figure if there ever was one. Same thing with Mantenna. So 2 more cartoon collections. I did buy 2 of each of these. One for my Min-On Card collection, one for my loose collection. We'll unbox these 2 on the channel someday. Someday we will. Continuing on, I took advantage at the same time. Super 7 had that big sale. I got another Cobra Trooper for $39. This is the one where you can make a black trooper or a white trooper. Now I can have one of each in my army. Backing up Cobra Commander, of course. And then the final one for round 1 of weekly purchases, a little Amazon McFarlane Toys Scarecrow for $9.99. Got to get a cheap McFarlane deal, like a cheap dinner date, Todd, over there on the couch. But there's round number 1 of weekly purchases. Time to dive into round number 2. All right, time for round number 2 of weekly purchases. And round number 2, all wrestling figures in this round here. And hot off the truck again, big rubber guys. Yes, we got them. The Barbarian, and you can't have the Barbarian without my dad's favorite, of course, the Warlord. My dad needs one of these in his collection. It's so bad, and gotta give a special shout out to my dad as I'm filming this. It is his birthday, so happy birthday to my dad, of course. We miss him here on this channel, but I feel like he needs this Warlord. I got him a different present. I guess by now his birthday's over, so he's already seen it, but I did get him that Frankenstein Universal Monster in chair. That's what I got him for his birthday. Also got through the door this week, the trifecta. We got Dusty Rhodes, the common man, ready to go in all of his NWA glory. Dusty Rhodes, Big Rubber guys, through the door. Stay tuned for the review on the channel, of course. Special shout out to good friend of the channel, David C. Anderson, on his road trip last week. Found another Cactus Jack at Walmart. I forgot when I got mine. I needed an extra one to display both looks for Cactus, so I'll be able to do that now, thanks to David out there. A lot of people, myself included, got the latest Lucha Brothers 2-pack Amazon exclusive through the door. Got these this week, so looking pretty good right there. How about a little Epic Toys Diamond Dallas Page? A lot of fuss about this retro Diamond Page. We got a lot of retros to unbox on the channel, and it's usual kind of, I guess, but we got a lot more than normal. We'll get a lot of retros, Big Rubber guys, superstars. It's going to be the retro feel, I guess, this week coming up on the channel, so check out all those videos when they do come. How about we dive over to Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10%. Of course, you know, I'm just a classics guy, but sometimes I'm a main event guy, and I did pick up Series 153, needed to get my boy Duke Hudson, Chase U, building out that Chase U team. Got that one through the door. How about Mr. Perfect? I did order Mr. Perfect. I'm playing the long game. Hopefully I'll find the Chase in stores, so I got Mr. Perfect right there. Rhea Ripley, straight off Saudi Arabia in this outfit right here, so I got that one through the door. How about we're going to yeet all over the place once again with Jey Uso, no stranger to the line, possibly the most figures of 2024, it seems like, in the Mattel lines. But then this guy comes along and beats him to it. It is, of course, one Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes through the door this week as well. And we're not done. How about a little Chase action ordered from Ringside? Carlito Chase, Series 113. And then Series 114 Chase, once again, yeeting all over the place, Jey Uso. And of course, I forgot Jimmy Uso, also a Chase. Forgot to order it. It has sold out from Ringside. I'm going to have to track down a Jimmy Uso Chase from 114. We'll get there eventually. We always do. But that's round number 2 of weekly purchases. Let's finish it off with round number 3. All right, let's bring home round number 3 and conclude weekly purchases for another week. And how about a little G.I. Joe Classified? You know me, I'm a G.I. Joe guy. Storm Shadow version 2 looking a lot better in hand than I anticipated, but we'll see. We'll dive in. We'll talk stories about the original Storm Shadow from way back in the day, trying to find this figure. It was a desperate hunt, but my dad and I came through. Shout out to the birthday boy, my dad, once again. Not done here, old Hastel Toys, old grapplers and gimmicks. We got old Kurt Fuller. I can't wait to unbox this and tell my first thoughts about this one. I think I talked about it in the Toy News when this was first announced, and I've really came around to this, and we'll talk more about that in that very video. Stay tuned for that, of course. How about the sensational one? Sensational Sherry, looking good. Looks like she's ready for prom is what it looks like right there. Not done with Sherry, though. We got another sensational Sherry to go with our Hasbro Shawn Michaels, looking very good, of course. And we're not done with the British Bulldog either. Another Bulldog joining the party from Grapplers and Gimmicks. And why not one more Bulldog, huh? Why not one more Grapplers and Gimmicks British Bulldog again? A lot of Bulldogs. The year of the Bulldog is what this is in 2024. Looking around, got one last thing, and I actually ordered 50 of these this week. It is the MOC Masters of the Universe Protector packaging thing, the cases. You know how these things go. I got these for my WWE Superstars and, of course, the Masters Universe Origins figures. Ordered 50 just for the savings, of course. That's what you got to do. You got to get a deal out there no matter which way you do it. Whoa, stop the clock. Almost forgot 2 extra special pickups this week. Already unboxed it on the channel. Check out the video if you missed it. G.I. Joe Classified series. What is a Nemesis Enforcer? Well, I know what a Nemesis Enforcer is. I don't know what a Nemesis Immortal is. Check out the review on the channel. Same thing, Ring of Honor, Jerry Lynn, Nigel McGuinness unboxed this on the channel this week. Check out that video if you did miss it. That concludes the old weekly purchases. A fairly light week, especially compared to the last 4 weeks on the channel. Man, my wallet needed a little bit of a break. A lot of work to do right here, but a lot of catch up over the last couple of weeks of all the figures that have come through. Have to imagine things will slow down a little bit. Of course, the Dragonfly is going to be flying in here maybe next week. We'll see what happens there. But slowing down a little bit, and I'm okay with that. As I said, we got a lot of top 5, top 10 year-end videos to do. got to catch up on all this kind of stuff. And as I always say, there's about 100 videos that aren't on YouTube over there on Patreon. Maybe more at this point. I'm not even sure. There's a lot of content. You guys know how it goes. But that is the weekly purchases. And how about you guys? What did you pick up this week? Anything extra special? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel. We're dangerously close to 45,000 subscribers right here. Let's get to 50. How about 50,000? When we do hit 50,000 subscribers, we got to do some special giveaways. I'm almost thinking maybe 5 giveaways for 50,000 subscribers. So help me get there. Tell a friend. Make sure you subscribe if you have not. We'll work on that maybe in the new year. We'll see what happens there. Of course, don't forget Patreon, as I did mention, Pro Wrestling Tees. Don't forget my book, The Complete Guide to the Jakks Classic Superstar Series, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and now newly released on Kindle. Appreciate all the support with the book. It is the holiday season after all. Check me out on social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for another weekly purchases, you know what I'm doing. I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling, my way to Night Demon, King Diamond, and Overkill.